Hello, welcome to the officers coverage of IBC. We're here in Amsterdam, ready to explore the show floor. We're going to look at booths, we're going to look at demos, we're going to talk to a lot of people. So let's do it. Ready? Let's go.
Welcome to IBC Exhibition 2022, presented by Office Hours Global. And over the next hour, you are going to join our team. And now this community has been meeting for the past 2 years, virtually daily. And as we approach our 900 show, we are broadcasting live remotely, but also from the Rai, Amsterdam in the Netherlands for IBC, the International Broadcasting Convention. Now, you will see shortly our panelists and then also our field reporters as we take you inside the exhibition floor for you to ask your questions, your burning questions, as this is the premier event for technology and media production. So as we get into the introductions from our crew, I'm Liberty White, and I'm broadcasting live remotely from Toronto, Canada. And I am joined by Sky Gleason, Grant Whitehead, and Guy Cochran. Grant, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited. I'm sitting in Adelaide, South Australia, in my garage. I get to go to an international event in Amsterdam, sitting in my garage. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I work on virtual production and do lots of those sorts of events, lots of Zoom events and things like that. I've got a studio full of Blackmagic gear, and there's all this stuff that connects to what's going on at IBC. And so I'm really excited to see new announcements of products and services. Yeah, it's just exciting to be here.
Sky Gleason.
I'm giddy because these are people that I've connected with globally, and traditionally I would go to these conventions and meet my friends after 25 years of doing that together. So it's very exciting for my first time to get to IBC, and it may be virtual, but I feel like I'm there in person.
And Guy Cochran, where are you coming in from?
Also coming in from Seattle. And as I look at these guys across the way, it's funny to think today I'm not going to get in as many steps as them. You know, usually I get the 12,000 steps in on my watch. I'm like, well, that's going to be John and Emma getting in those steps today. So thanks, guys, for being the boots on the ground and putting in the hard work. Yeah, I have a small equipment store up in Seattle, Washington, where we sell a lot of the equipment. So I'm used to being the boots on the ground guy, actually exhibiting and having a booth. And I've also done some of these shows like Cinegear and NAB and helped out. So over to you, Liberty.
Wonderful. And we're heading to the showroom floor with Emma Bainbridge. Hey, Emma.
Hey again, Liberty. We're here at the lovely Aputure booth, and I'm about to have a quick chat with Brandon over here. So, Brandon, how are you finding IBC being back in person?
This is the first IBC in like 3 years since 2019, and it's changed quite a bit. Everything is really into virtual production right now, and a lot of our lighting is catering to that as well. But also, our entire lighting portfolio has changed in the past 3 years. So I'm excited to show it off to everyone.
That's awesome. I've heard some hubbub of some bit.
Yes, and then we also have John Barker in the field. Hi, John.
Hello, hello. I was just checking my watch there. I've hit 10,000 steps already today, and it's only like halfway through the day. So, Guy, I'm coming after your record, whatever that is.
What's your record, Guy?
I think mine's just 15,000, but that was a lot of walking in Vegas. I mean, when those buildings, you always think that they look so small, but then you start walking and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm only a quarter of the way there and the building's still far away. So I think John's going to break my record. I think he's going to be moving about and going past 15,000.
Awesome. And I think Emma, who will we be speaking with as you're out there?
So, sorry. So I've got Brandon here from Aputure, who is going to show us hopefully some new toys that he has. There's been a lot of hubbub around this. Is it an MC Pro, unreleased?
MC Pro, yeah. So I can show you. You want to show it right now or a little bit later?
Should we keep them waiting?
Yeah, let's keep them waiting just a little bit. But we are at Aputure today, and we have a lot of new lights to show. A lot of work done in virtual production that we're doing with a lot of other companies, but also a lot of work on the content creator end as well. Just a whole plethora of lights that is pretty much an entirely new catalog from 3 years ago, the last time we had IBC.
That's awesome. And you were saying earlier that you're catering a lot more to kind of virtual productions. You got any new specific toys that you can talk about that you kind of have come up with in the process over the pandemic, or like what's been your best seller in that kind of field?
Yeah, we have some new things coming up that I can't quite talk about yet, but in terms of what we do have, things like the Lightstorm 600C Pro, which is a full-color point source light, our Nova P600C, which is an RGB WW panel with multiple zones, and even our MT Pro, which is a 1-foot tube light that has the highest pixel density of any light fixture on the market, with 36 pixels in 1 foot of RGB WW light control. A lot of those products are really, really exciting for our virtual production crowd, and a lot of them have already gotten to a chance to use them in a lot of those scenarios.
That's awesome. That's incredible. Oh, it looks like we already have our first question, and it's from Hashid. He says, I've got to love the team. The question basically is, how do you feel today, and how does it feel to be live at this point from all the preparation that you've had?
Well, at IBC, this is the first time we've had it in 3 years, so I'm excited to be back in Amsterdam. I'm based in the U.S. right now, so we've had NAB, we've had Cinegear at LA, and we've had a bunch of trade shows, but being back in Europe for the first time is really exciting to get to see everyone I haven't seen in the past 3 years, and even connecting with people that I've met online since 2020 that I'm now getting a chance to actually talk to face-to-face and show them the products in person.
That's amazing. I've heard that a lot from other vendors, that just the ability to come and speak to customers and live demos has been my favorite thing that's been back.
100% live demos. I had someone coming yesterday that said, I've done all the research online, but in order to make my final decision, I just really want you to tell me, like, how does this look in person? So we took the lights, we set it up against the wall, and we showed him in person what the lights could do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon. So, hi, Liberty. Have you got anything for us?
Yeah, I'm looking at Grant here and like, Grant, what did we just hear? Can you break that down for us and the impact?
I'm super excited about Aputure. I love the whole range. I'm interested in kind of that entry level. We've got lots of people that have their home studios, like their Zoom setups, and so I'm interested in what sort of products there are entry level for people, everyone that's kind of setting up Zoom.
Yeah, so Grant, did you have any follow-up questions?
So I'm not sure if he can hear me.
Yeah, sorry. So Grant just asking, entry level, is there anything that Aputure would offer that you think would be suitable for someone who's brand new to virtual production and wants to go for it? What would you say to them?
Yeah, so I mean, on the entry-level side, there's a lot that we have going on. Like, our most affordable light is in the $45 price range, and then our sub-brand, our brand Amaran, that is catered towards that content creator, filmmaker type crowd, basically ranges from that $45 price point all the way up to $899. But in between there are lots of places to start, including some small mini lights, kind of like this unreleased MC Pro, which is more professionally oriented. But our MC, which is just a $90 RGB light that's super small. You can mount it onto the back of your laptop. You can mount it onto the top of your camera for just a really quick fill light, even to some of our point source lights. And you throw a little softbox on there. And you can basically, with these lights, recreate the lighting setup of any YouTuber that you've ever seen. Everyone from Peter McKinnon to Sarah Dietschy to Linus Tech Tips, they all use Aputure lights, especially even some of our old legacy lights. Mm-hmm. So some of the new point source lights that we have on our Amaran sub-brand, you can get the same quality of light for just starting with a light that's like $169. Throw a softbox on there that is ranging from like $69 to $99, and you can recreate basically the same lighting setup as all of these creators.
That's awesome. I think that's what I've
And
always
Emma,
loved
do
about
we have
Aputure,
any-
is the whole thing is that you... Sorry, Liberty. I was just going to say that Aputure historically is a brand that is by filmmakers for filmmakers, so they know what it's like to have a light kit budget.
That's so true. And I think we've got questions still coming in from Mukana.
Yeah, so we have one from Sam Downey in Bristol, and he says, what's new from Apture? What's the best lights for content creators, YouTubers and journalists? We've kind of answered that already, but maybe we can have a little poke at this, the MC Pro if we're allowed, because I know it's super exclusive.
For sure. We can talk about this guy. We just finally have this in a closer to final production model. This is something called the MC Pro. So this is an upgrade to the MC that we currently have had out on the market for the past few years and quickly became everyone's favorite mini RGB light. I think I can't go anywhere without at least seeing it on some film set or in some content creator studio in the lighting up the shelves or lighting up the background or just lighting on camera, just because it's a small portable battery powered light that has really taken the world by storm. A lot of professionals asked us for a lot of new features inside the MC Pro. So it has, for those professional markets, wireless DMX control, which is the standard for that. Has IP54 rating, which means it can withstand rain and dust, just like you can with some of our higher-end lights and just like you can with your smartphone, as well as being able to have a lot more output as well. It has 7 watts of output and these tighter beam angle. But in order to take advantage of that for everyone from the professional to the content creator, we have these magnetic diffusion accessories. So I can actually just slap on a grid, I can slap on diffusion super easily without having to have any fuss at all. And I can do this all with MC Pro. We can sell this in kits, but for individual creators, we're also selling them in this single light kit that comes in this package right here. I don't have a final price point or a release date. I know people are going to ask that. A release date, I'm thinking sometime before early next year at the latest. And I don't have a price point, but this is what will come inside a single light kit for this
Well,
MC
Emma,
Pro.
make sure to
That's
say thank you
amazing.
from Seattle, because we used his light on a cooking show and it saved our bacon.
And I have this in my hand.
That's a great thing about Aputure. They're always there at a pinch. So,
especially with 100%, especially with the mini lights. The mini lights are always coming to save the day because they fit into your back pocket. Not just the case, but in the back pocket is especially where I like to keep mine.
that's always perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Brendan. I'm going to go and have a poke around some of your other lights and maybe try and get the rig back in my hand luggage. So really back to you, Sky.
Thank you so much, Emma and Brandon. And now we're going to head over to this Sony and introduce you to what's next.
This is the very popular, as you can probably see and hear, Cinema Line PTZ camera with interchangeable lenses supporting a lot of Sony's line, not all of them, but quite a lot, to give you a lot of flexibility to get cinema quality recording and footage and broadcast with a PTZ setup.
This is our, how should I say, the new lineup, which enhance the shooting opportunity for the creators. So yeah, we also very pleased to introduce this model, and we just want to listen about the customer's reputation, what kind of image they want to shoot with these new concept cameras. For us, it is the first time to reflect this interchangeable lens concept to punch-out zoom camera. So for us, this is also the new challenge, and just we launch, then we are listening the customer's voice here. Yeah.
And does it support all of your lenses or just particular lenses?
Yeah, so depend on the lens. Some limitation is there, but how should I say that normally how we are optimized based on our E-mount lens lineup. If we really looking at the, how should I say, the contents, the punch speed is very slow and very smooth to, how should I say, generate the taste. So it is designed as such.
And here you can see the camera doing auto tracking. Not wanting to sound like I'm making some sort of weird commentary, but look at the smoothness on that.
What an awesome, there's so much happening in what we just saw from Sony. And now, John, we're ready for you.
Excellent. Good to be here with my good buddy Frank, and we're going to talk about Make Pro X. So tell us about it, Frank. What do you got?
Thanks, John. Thanks a ton. Thanks for bringing me on office hours once again. It's our first time at IBC, and we have been giving out some information, just a bit, but we're here to show and demonstrate everything. So we have video setups, we have audio setups, camera control setups, and maybe we just give you a very brief introduction on what we're doing. So here you see our Extreme controller, or one of the Extreme series. Extreme stands for Extreme Integration. It's kind of new that you can combine multi-target, multi-protocol control from just one panel, be it such a compact panel. It's one panel you may choose, but you can also build it very differently. So this is just basically an example panel. We combine audio control, multiple layers for different audio devices in the system. We control video switching, titles, effects, camera, and lighting, all on this one in-rack controller. This means if you go to a location, you flip off the lid, you switch it on, and you are on air.
That's so perfect. We actually already have questions from our panel, so we can listen in and see what they have to say about the product so far.
Yeah,
let's hear what they have to say.
Very good. So more news over here. We are showing now our complete range of form factors. So we have on-table units, in-table units, we have on-wall units and rack units. Now it's all complete. The system is always the same. The framing is slightly different. We're showing news such as a PoE module, so single cable Ethernet and power over Ethernet, a module which fits into the bottom of our devices. So this is one option. So you see here it's a single cable connections.
When you look at this and what's happening live, watching
boards.
this demo here, what's running through your mind?
Oh,
I see this as
I have it.
A single a surface. I'm grateful for the physical button because we've been used to using software, but how would I connect my existing Elgato to this? Do I need to have my own equipment to plug onto your surfaces?
You can bring in your Stream Deck. You can bring in your Elgato Stream Deck. We're actually showing an integration over there where you see a small Stream Deck, big Stream Deck, and it integrates with Glue. Glue will natively take in and animate power the Stream Deck. So you can have graphical buttons, icons, text, values, everything on your Stream Deck from Glue. But Glue can also integrate with Companion, very popular, Companion, right? So, and we can share a Stream Deck with Companion. So you can give a few buttons to Glue and give the other buttons to Companion, and they work alongside, works like a charm, two systems, best of both worlds. You will tend to look at Glue for control where you need continuous controllers, where you want faders and knobs, etc., right? But for anything buttons, button box functions, you could still use Companion, which is a great piece of software. So, so it's
and I understand there's also presets. There's presets that you could give us that we wouldn't need to do everything from scratch from the beginning.
Absolutely, absolutely. You would be set up to, like, the integration is done in a minute. You download a solution which you get from us. You make one setting in Companion, you make one setting in Glue, and the setup is up and running. Yeah, it's very easy.
Wonderful. John, do we have questions coming in? We've got questions coming in from Ukana.
You know, I was just checking my phone here. The Wi-Fi and 4G is a bit spotty in the building, so I'm going to have to maybe try and come back to them a bit later. And I'm sure Frank has one more thing that he'd love to show us, or a little bit more detail on some of the devices. Should we go to that instead, Frank?
Yeah,
what do you got for us?
Yeah. If you come around, if you try to follow me.
We're dynamic here. We're moving. We're seeing how it goes. Let's go.
We would need just a minute, just a moment. Space here. Please come over. We're demonstrating here. Yeah, sorry.
It's very robust because of the materials that you make it from. Is it plastic, or what? What is the materials that it's made from?
Yeah. Okay. No. We the only plastic is acrylic, which is the displays, right? It's just like the screen for the displays. Everything else is aluminum and wood. So these are heavy units, durable units. It's very important that these are serviceable and durable, because there are too many controllers, plastic controllers, which are what they are, and they are not flexible, and you discard them after a while. They lose their relevance. But we wanted to build something which is adaptable, which doesn't break, which is repairable. So yeah, this is it's actually quite heavy if you take this wood, all metal. So it's a very robust suggestion.
I actually have a question
And
for
we
you
wanna-
here, Frank, coming from the audience. Gordon Lake wants to know what would be the advantage of using your controller to control an X32 rack over using something like the Behringer X-Touch?
Well, the X-Touch is a single purpose controller. It's an MCU controller, and in that case, it would control the X32 rack, and that's what it does, and it does it well. That's fine. You would look at Mac Pro X the moment you go multi-target, you go multifunctional, whereas the X32 is one of multiple devices you want to control, because this is multi-purpose. You can be layering functionality, and you cannot do this without a software like LiveU.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that demo. I see the chat going off here in the Office Hours community and on YouTube. And John, I believe you're on to your next exhibit. And what is it like there as you're walking through? And I see some people cutting through the camera too.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy here.
Thanks for
There's a lot
having
of
us on.
things happening,
Thank you
a lot
very
of
much.
moving parts. As you can tell, we're having a lot of fun. That's for sure. Luckily, it was lunchtime just before this, so the place sort of cleared out a little bit. But it's crazy now. Yeah, so we're just walking and enjoying it for sure.
What's the best swag you've seen so far? What are the gifts that you're taking back to your family?
Well, as you know, I came on the train and I packed very light, so I had to find the smallest swag, and of course stickers are pretty good. Like I said before, I think Mousemat is about as good as I can carry, and I got one T-shirt from somebody, and I think that's all I can manage to bring back with me.
Hopefully Emma can help out, because Emma said that she's pretty much buying up the showroom floor. And what's happening? Is that just a group of people behind you? Are you walking through to show us a bit about what's happening?
Yeah, we can have
so
a little
we're
dander
on our
through
way
here. So
from-
we're in a hall.
Okay, John.
Sorry,
so
John, I thought that was for me.
We're just excited. I'm just excited for you, Emma. So I keep bringing your name up with all the gear that you're going to be able to bring back with you. But we're just traveling with John, because while we're in the comfort of our homes, on the panel here, the energy and just really seeing what's happening where you are as John takes us through. Because Grant, you mentioned that you haven't been to IBC.
Yeah, exactly. I've never been there, and John, I'm interested. I think you've been to NAB before. How would you compare NAB and IBC?
Actually haven't been to IBC or NAB at this point. This is my first of this sort of a foray into meeting a lot of people and walking around. So I have no reference point yet, but all I can say is I am certainly tired, but still somehow full of energy. And yeah, I'm having a great time.
John, we can't hear a whole lot of the languages being spoken, but because Europe has such a dynamic, diverse language group, what kind of banter are you hearing off in the distance? Are you hearing a lot of English, or is it Spanish or Dutch? What are we hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing almost entirely English, and there's plenty of Dutch here and there. Certainly if you leave the building, of course, there's plenty of Dutch. But in the building here, I'm mostly hearing English in general. I think we've all sort of localized or agreed on that just for the show floor. Certainly, I would be getting lost. I speak English, live in Sweden, and if somebody talks Swedish to me, I start to get nervous. So I'm glad we're sticking with English here on the show floor. But plenty of cultures, plenty of people from everywhere right here on the show.
Do we have any numbers as to how many people are there? Like at NAB, we're getting up over 100,000. Do you think there's 100,000 people there?
I really wish I should have asked somebody, but I would say we're close to that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people yesterday and today. It's twice as busy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're pretty close to that number. I should find that out and see if I can update you later. But what's really crazy is just to see how busy it has been outside. At 9:30, whenever the show floor opened this morning, the queues were getting long and long, and I'm glad it was nice and dry for everyone to stand out there and wait patiently while they got in. I did get a press badge, so I just, snuck on in the side entrance, got myself a coffee, and I was instantly happy to be here.
Thank you for those hacks, John.
3 years of absence. Very delighted to be back. Very excited to be introducing to the world our brand new brand. So for anybody who's familiar with Haivision, you may notice a new look and feel for the company, which was important after a number of years of transformation, including going public and some significant acquisitions. We felt was now the time to move forward with a brand new, bold brand identity change. So that's a big part of what's going on at the show. And with that brand identity change, we've also introduced new branding on a number of products that were part of an acquisition. So the 5G contribution devices in our portfolio, including the Haivision Pro, Haivision Air, and Haivision Rack, are being introduced at the show, along with the Haivision Stream Hub, which make up the ecosystem of transmitters for encoding from the field to the receivers in the OB vans or the broadcast centers or in the cloud, our Haivision branded solutions. We've introduced a brand new cloud product, which is the culmination of work that happened together with the two companies, the company that was originally acquired, which is now part of Haivision. We've released our first new product together called Haivision Hub MCR, which is a very exciting development. So it's a cloud workflow management platform that's part of this entire ecosystem of 5G contribution workflow solutions. And last but not least, in terms of news, Haivision is a company that's very interested in the SRT protocol as the original developer and the founder of the open source movement SRT Alliance. We're happy to be introducing a new version of SRT, version 1.5. And we're also happy to announce that Canon has joined the SRT Alliance as a member who is introducing SRT technology into their solutions. And that the SRT Alliance, if you guys are not familiar with it, it's an initiative that's been around since 2017, has now grown to over 575 members, many of whom are in this trade show with us today. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. It sounds so exciting. I'm sure the panel have lots of questions.
Yes, guys. So SRT, new branding. What questions do you have for Haivision?
Wow. So what is the new brand? Can you tell us how this all came about? I'd love to hear the new branding and what the new products are, because we're big users of SRT. We love the low latency and the high quality. I've got one of the Osprey encoders here that's doing the 10-bit 422. So I'm excited to see what this new version is. Can you tell us about the new branding and the new product?
Well, the new branding came about because, essentially the company name's Haivision. That has not changed. What's changed is the look and the feel, the logo, the color scheme. And the reason behind it is because if you go back a couple of years ago, when we introduced SRT, we began to transform the industry, the way people stream video. And then we went public. The company went public on the Toronto Stock Exchange a couple of years ago. Then we started to do some acquisitions. The company grew. New people came along. And we felt that we were at a moment where, with all of this transformation, that it was time to introduce ourselves as a new company to the world. So we're here at this show. We announced it yesterday. The new brand is now officially unveiled. And really what it is it's an opportunity for us to move forward as the company is transformed as a unified group of people towards a common goal. So that's what's going on right now. In terms of the products, Haivision Hub MCR is a new product that was launched for master control rooms and broadcast workflows. It's a cloud product that was developed with our combined development resources across the world, including in our Rennes Development Center, which is in France. And then we've also rebranded some 5G mobile transmitters, 5G, 4G, 3G actually, to the Haivision Pro, Haivision Rack, and Haivision Air, which are on display here at the booth. And I see a question
and Emma,
here
I think you have some questions from Mukana.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. Marcus is trying to steal my job as well. It's all good. So we have a couple of questions. So we have one from Paul Valhouse, who says, can you tell us how to create a video wall and give us examples of how this is being used?
So this is a question related to the Haivision mission critical collaboration workflow. This is a big question. I think.
And guys, so when you heard that just from the marketing aspect that they really are looking at that they are a global brand, and you mentioned too that you use a lot of SRT. Can you talk to us about some of the applications of using SRT?
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about is this low latency, high quality. So even this camera that I'm using right now, which is a Z-Cam, with a firmware update, it can encode SRT in the camera, so I don't need an external box. So Haivision's been around a long time, and they have a $10,000 box called the Makito. $10,000 is a lot of money for the normal layman. Right. So being able to get something a little less expensive or have it built into the camera, we're seeing like even some of the PTZ cameras that they're being announced have SRT built in, so you don't need an encoder. You don't need to feed it into OBS or software to get to SRT and get it up, as he was saying, to the cloud. So I really want to look at that MCR product because we've been using Haivision Gateway to ingest SRT feeds. So I'm excited to see with this new stuff. I'm just like a little kid in a candy store. I wish I was there to ask him more questions and get a feel for all this stuff, because that's the other flavor that we're not seeing just visually. We're not seeing what the materials are made of. Like Sky asked, is that plastic? And he's like, no, there's no plastic in here. You know, like, right. He's like, this is wood. And, you know, it's a different feel when you're there to see the quality of these products. I know Haivision makes awesome stuff, and can't wait to see, you know, the Electro booth and some of these other things where we're going to really see some quality.
Yeah. And what I appreciate about them too, they do a lot of education, like even just prepping for IBC, a lot of the videos and webinars that they do for their community as well to get them, you know, get them up to speed. So to your point, being there, people get their hands on the tools, hands on the equipment. And go ahead.
This is amazing to me because these are the guys that invented SRT. For our audience that may not know this, they wrote it. You know, this is theirs, and there's a lot of military use prior to this being released to consumers. You know, the military needed a low latency, fast, high quality way of getting information out, and these guys, you know, brought it to them, and now they're bringing it to us, and it's affordable. I can't believe when I first started going to NAB 20 years ago, there was helicopters and satellite dishes. We got drones now. We got, you know, YouTube as a CDN. It's amazing that we can do this stuff for free that used to cost a lot of money.
So true. And we're going to go back to Emma in the field. Emma, we've got a Mukana question.
Yes, we do. Another great question from Paul Walhouse, who's in Austin, Texas. He says, can you discuss the A20-RX Digital Wireless Receiver with SpectraBand Technology and how it positioned in the marketplace? Is it widely available?
I'm not sure what that is.
No problem. That's what you get. Not a Haivision. No, it doesn't seem to be. But this is what you get when you're in a live situation, folks. But Mark's was telling me all about the multi-wall vision technology and how interesting that discussion would be. But it would probably take up everything. I'll ask one more question. Is there anything as an industry standard kind of software and development encoder technical company that you would like to see in the future?
Well, in terms of our products, certainly the Makito video encoder is widely adopted. And I think as far as enabling low latency, real-time video contribution workflows, it is pretty close to being a standard. It's used by literally everybody across the industry in high performance, mission critical use cases. The SRT protocol, fundamental. In so many streaming workflows. It began with a pandemic. Well, it began way before that, but with the pandemic, it became absolutely critical in solving problems related to streaming. And I think today with the popularity, the surge of adoption of the SRT protocol and the SRT Alliance, it has effectively become a de facto standard in the industry, and we look forward to continuing to see what kind of new use cases people are going to develop with it.
Yeah, I think that's what's really exciting about any kind of software and SRT technology is seeing what other people do with it once you give them the tools and see how they develop. So I think that's a very exciting point that we're going to get forward to just in general as an industry with everything going more cloud-based. So Thank you so much for your time, Marcus. It's been great being down here. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but it's been fantastic to hear all about it. So I'm going to throw it back to the panel.
Thank you so much, Marcus and Emma. And now we're going to look what's happening with Cinefade.
Hi, Andre. Welcome to the C-Motion booth. So Cinefade is effectively two polar filters. We've got a motorized filter, which is fed through with the L-bus interface, so the C-Motion standard protocol. When used together with a static polarizer, we're able to then create either a variable ND, or we can create what we call the Cinefade effect.
That sounds intriguing. Can you show us how it works?
Sure. So it's set up at the moment with the C-Motion C-Pro system. So this is our C-Pro Plus hand unit that gives me control of access either for the variable ND, a rotopolar, or in this instance, we're doing the Cinefade effect. The display pages we have here, we can select variable modes, as I say Cinefade, VariND, and rotopolar. This is currently on the Cinefade mode. I simply use my iris control, my slider, and I can reduce, and I can find out exactly on the image where my limit would be. And I can create 5 stops of dynamic range. So if I go for an iris setting of 8, I've assigned this middle button. You can assign any buttons on the C-Pro. That will now activate and the filter will now turn on. And when I open up my iris, this will now synchronize my ND. So this will give me a shallow depth of field. So if I just sneak around here a little, I might be able to see where my focus is. And then as I close down my iris, we'll see the background is getting deeper. So I can simply open up, we get a shallow depth of field, and close down, and I've got a dynamic control of the depth of field without adjusting my contrast.
Thank you so much for that, Cinefade. And now we're back into the field with John, and he is at Sound Devices. What's happening over there at Sound Devices, John?
Absolutely, we are here with Gary at Sound Devices, and I am going to let you take over and tell me what you got for me.
Okay, so what we're talking about at the Sound Devices booth for the show is our new A20. This is an A20 receiver. So the big story with the A20 receiver for us is what we're calling SpectraBand tuning. So this receiver has a tuning range starting at 470 megahertz, and it goes all the way up to 1525 megahertz. So it's over a gigahertz worth of tuning range. Within that band, we've got enhanced scan function, so you're able to then pick what we're calling a tuning band. We've got a lot of very steep filters included in the receiver. So the filters are usually between 24 and 36 megahertz wide. So you'd go and do a scan, and then you'd engage one of those filters, so you're strongly filtering out any interfering signal and letting through just the area of that tuning range that you've identified as being the clean spectrum that you want to use. So because we have that wide tuning range, we're able to just set the country. It's a single receiver across whatever country you're going to travel to. The country setting then knows what's legal in that particular country. Find your clear spectrum, and you've got a spot to put a wireless microphone.
That's really cool. I haven't seen many devices that do that. I'm not hugely in the audio world, but is that something that's fairly unique at this point?
Yeah, that wide a tuning range I think is fairly unique for Sound Devices, and the fact that the A20 mini transmitter that we make that compares up with the A20 receiver also has that wide 470 to 1525 range is a really powerful option for a lot of wireless users, yeah.
Really cool. And what's it made of? I think a lot of people are asking, like, what does it sound like when you bang on it?
Oh, yeah, so this is in a small enclosure that battery powers it, but I can show you the actual, sorry. So this is the actual receiver. It's a slot chassis compatible. It's a die-cast aluminum, so very rugged. It fits in camera slots, fits in our super slot protocol. You can get other backplates for it that can be any sort of just audio out and DC power.
That's perfect. Our panel has some questions. Let's listen in and hear those.
Sure.
Yes, Guy, what are you thinking? There's so much. That was jam-packed.
Well, I am an owner of the mixer, and what I'm jealous is that my other friends have the noise canceling software. Can I add that noise canceling to the previous iterations of my MixPre 3?
Okay, so MixPre has a noise assist plugin. You can buy a single instance of noise assist for the MixPre, and with the 8 series mixer recorders you can get up to 8 instances of noise assist, and so that's a real-time noise canceling. So if you're, let's say, on a a shoot where there's an air handler noise or some sort of other noise on set that you want to eliminate, the noise assist is a really powerful tool for that.
It has been very powerful because we have taken it into the field. And again, I'm very grateful for all of the gazinzas and gazoutzes that you provide. It's a very professional tool. What as a standalone user, what other tools should I have that your company can help me do like Zoom meetings from home?
Yeah. So for Zoom meetings, I think the MixPre is probably the product line to look at. It's got a USB-C connection, and there's various sizes of MixPre, so you can bring that multi-channel audio into your computer very easily, use it with a Zoom meeting. There's the smallest one's a MixPre 3 that we talked about, but it goes all the way up to a MixPre 10, which has like 8 channels of mic pre plus a stereo aux in for up to 10 inputs, and that integrates very easily with any computer.
And the price points are from the entry level all the way up to the large event spaces? Yeah,
so MixPre 3 pricing is around $900 US list. And then as you go up to there's a 6 and a 10, you go up to, I want to say the 10 is about $1,700 list or so. So that's the range for it.
And we have some questions coming in from Mukana. John, do you want to, lots of questions coming in.
We do. We have one here from Paul. Wants to know, can you discuss the A20-RX Digital Wireless Receiver and SpectraBand Technology, and how is it positioned in a marketplace? Is it widely available? Go.
Sure. So the A20 receiver with SpectraBand is what we talked about at the beginning. As far as how is it positioned in the marketplace, I think the sound devices, wireless systems, they're all a full digital wireless system. So that means 20 to 20K audio bandwidth, no companding. It's a true diversity digital receiver. So we've got within that small slot receiver, it's 2 receivers per audio channel. So really, it's I would say high-end digital audio system for people that really care about audio quality on their wireless link.
Perfect. And I have another question here from Alex Lindsay. Can your transmitters record as well as transmit?
Yes, they can, yeah. So in the United States, that's not available, but for anyone outside the United States, you can record and transmit simultaneously. Within the United States, you can record by itself or transmit. We have an application for a boom pole in the United States where you can record and transmit. For body-worn, you can't. But that's really great, and something, Sound Devices is known for everything that we have, you can sync timecode to it, right? So the body pack transmitters have a timecode accessory cable. You can jam timecode and record on the body pack transmitter. And if you're transmitting to your receiver and your mixer recorder, now you're able to have like a backup on the body pack. With the A10, that's a micro SD card that you would remove. With the A20 Mini, there's a USB-C, and you can plug it into your computer. It mounts just like any removable media.
That's perfect. Yeah. Funny enough, though, we were looking around before we went live here, and we were looking at the gear we're using, and I know you spotted immediately what we have on top of our camera. What do we have with us?
You've got a MixPre on top of your camera with you, so that's great.
There was a smile on your face whenever you looked
I always
at
like to see the Sound Devices products out in use in the field.
Exactly. Well, that's perfect. Thank you so much for your time, and
great.
We'll see you again, I'm sure, later, and come back to the booth.
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Right.
Back to you, panel.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Gary and John. And now we're going to go to show you more about Electrosonics.
I'm talking to Carl Winkler. Hello, Carl. Nice to meet you. What is the newest things that Electrosonics have to show here on IBC?
Great, yes, thanks for coming by. And the newest things are the DSR and DSR4 slot receivers. Now, you're familiar with the SRC, that's what we're doing the interview with.
Yes.
SRC family has been around for a long time for us. And the new ones now are digital receivers. The DSR is 2 channels digital, as well as backwards compatible with the hybrid systems. And the DSR4 is 4 channels of receiver in this small package.
Wow, that's
so
huge.
It's very dense, and you can see it's got a color display. It's got all the features from the older series, plus a few new things as well.
So the older ones have been analog, and the new ones are digital, right?
Yeah, the older ones are hybrids, which means that they use a FM transmission, but it's specially encoded in a digital way. Okay, the new ones have full digital transmission as well as hybrid compatibility.
Yeah, and have all the features the old ones have as well.
Yeah, all the features plus new things. The new ones are able to communicate with our wireless designer software, for instance, and they have encryption because they're digital in case you need to have the signal be kept secret, and a few other things as well.
Wow. Very impressive. Do you have kind of a price tag for it?
About $3,500 US, and this one's going to be more like $2,500.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Have you anything else to show us?
The Duet system has been extremely popular. This is a digital listen back system, fold back or in-ear monitor type system.
Yeah, I just listened to it. It sounds incredible.
Incredible
very
sound
good.
quality.
Yeah.
And a lot of unique features. And the transmitter is a half rack unit with analog inputs or Dante.
Wow.
So all these systems are interoperable. You can send a stereo transmission from the Duet system and pick it up with one of our portable receivers, for instance. Or send a mono digital signal and pick it up with the Duet receiver. So the idea is it's part of a digital ecosystem that we've been developing for many years now.
Copy. Very good. Thank you very much, Carl.
Of course.
Yes,
Thanks for
see you
coming by to
next
see
time.
us. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Electrosonics, because actually our field team, we're using those wireless microphones for bringing this show to you from the showroom floor. And now we're going to head over to Emma at Zoom. And just a reminder to our audience that we won't be taking questions right now, but you can come back during office hours for the second hour to ask all of your Zoom questions. Emma, hello.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
No, sorry. Guys, you might be a bit fooled here. We are actually not in office hours, although there's a familiar face here. We are actually still at IBC. So, Andy, how are you doing today? How are you finding it?
Hello to everybody at office hours. So glad we can connect. It's kind of interesting to fly to the other side of the world just to be on office hours again, you know, but happy to be here and happy to be at IBC debuting our broadcast solutions, right? So this is the first time that Zoom has actually been at IBC, and we're talking specifically about our solutions for contribution to air for the first time, right? So I'm really excited to give you a quick demo of what we have going on in our booth, and then I look forward to answering some questions.
That sounds awesome. I'm going to do what field reporters are never supposed to do and hand over my microphone to Andy.
Oh, it's a power trip. All right. So let me start you off with Zoom ISO version 2. This is something that we announced yesterday, right when the show floor opened. And Zoom ISO version 2 is an absolutely game-changing product from us when it comes to contribution to air through Zoom. So what Enrico and I are showing here is the ability for Zoom ISO to export 8 1080p Zoom participant feeds out through SDI. This is a Blackmagic deck link going into the atem Extreme ISO. This is the new SDI version of the Extreme ISO. So we can have 8 participants. We can pick them at all the profiles that the deck link has available, and we can mix an 8-person panel for under $3,000. We've absolutely come, out of the park in terms of the endpoint density that we've achieved with ISO here. The CPU use right now is like under 50%, so we've really optimized our media engine for Apple Silicon, and we're really excited about the performance that we're getting out of it. We've also continued to support our new companion profile, where we can route and manage all of the controls directly through a Stream Deck. Let me take you over and talk a little bit about our IP-based solutions versus our copper options. So I'm over here now with Jonathan, and we're talking about NDI and Dante in this setup here. So Zoom ISO introduces isolated audio for all the participants either embedded in NDI or available through Dante. So here we have an X32 and an X-Touch, and we have the individual participants coming out both isolated audio through NDI, which you can see here in the vMix setup, or we can mix it on the X-Touch directly and pass that off into our show. We're also really excited to have our friends from Universe with us today. They're showing centralized control interfaces of all the equipment in this rack and a new module to support Zoom ISO version 2. So Zoom ISO fits right into all the other infrastructure that you would normally use to produce a production. And finally, let me show you something I'm really excited about. With Mark Caniglio, the creator of Troicatronics Isadora product, we are really excited to announce a joint venture that we've worked on together called EasyCast. And EasyCast is powered by the Zoom Video SDK, and it allows you to transport audio, video, and data from any 2 instances of Isadora to anywhere else. So it opens up the power of the media server to remote collaboration, and the question of can it be controlled remotely becomes can it be controlled by Isadora. So we're really excited to work with Mark on that today. I know you guys have some questions, so maybe I'll stand in a little bit better light and we can take some of those.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Andy. And we're excited to see you during the second hour. But Grant, That was a lot of exciting news.
It really is, Andy. Congratulations on an amazing milestone, really, for Zoom ISO. I love the fact that you are supporting both software production solutions and hardware production solutions. I guess I have a bent towards the hardware. I'm really interested. There's two things I'm interested in. One is the low latency, the latency now going through directly through to the Blackmagic card, and the second thing I'm interested in is is what Zoom infrastructure is doing to be able to get 8 1080 streams coming into one computer.
Absolutely. So let me start with the first question. How is the latency now improved by using direct deck link outputs? Well, we're using the Blackmagic SDKs for desktop video. That allows us to directly take our video frame coming in through Zoom raw data and export it directly to the deck link. There's no intermediary software that's required in order to be able to broker that relationship, and we're able to do that directly off of the raw data. So latency is improved, performance is improved, there's less overhead both from a CPU perspective as well as from a management perspective, having to deal with external software as well. It's all managed directly inside of Zoom ISO. And to your second question about how we are managing what we're calling high bandwidth mode, that's a feature of Zoom ISO Pro, which is rolling out worldwide right now. Zoom's global infrastructure is updating to allow a 100 megabit per second link between Zoom ISO Pro and the Zoom Cloud. That means that you should be able to get between 12 and 16 outputs depending on your CPU configuration from a single instance of the software. As you know, a 1080p video feed from Zoom averages between 4 and 6 megabit per second, so you can do the math and you can figure out if you have ample CPU resources left behind, which again, we're really excited that we're accelerating our media engine through Apple Silicon so that we have the headroom for this. Zoom is now going to be able to provide that additional bandwidth. Again, it's rolling out worldwide, so expect maybe until mid-October before it's available for all meetings in all regions, but it's something we're really excited about to increase our endpoint density.
That's awesome, Andy. Once again, congratulations. And I've got 1,000 more questions that we're going to get to in office hours later today. Thanks, mate.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Andy. And now we're going to learn more about Disguise.
I'm Chris with Office Hours, here with Grigory from Disguise. What is Disguise? What does Disguise do?
Disguise, we're a company focused on visualization for graphics for most industries like broadcast, live events, and we enable
I'm Chris with Office Hours, here with Grigory from Disguise. What is Disguise? What does Disguise do?
Disguise, we're a company focused on visualization for graphics for most industries like broadcast, live events, and we enable extended reality, virtual reality, really any type of graphics production, and also a lot of concepts to the metaverse.
And so do you make those yourself, or do you provide tools to help other people?
We provide tools that enable artists and production companies to create those experiences and create environments like this one that allow people to kind of enter the graphic, right, enter the environment.
And is it a completely proprietary tool, or are you integrating into like existing tool chains?
So we have our own production tools and hardware that are built on top of Unreal. So a lot of what we're doing is with Unreal Engine. We do support other render systems like Unity and Notch, but we really focus a lot on Unreal and controlling really the vanilla version of Unreal. We don't create a custom version. So.
And what are you at IBC to talk about in particular?
A lot of cloud production. So a lot of our tools all run in the cloud, enable you to control Unreal from anywhere, remotely, or within a facility, as well as ease of use tools, how to create graphics without being a scientist.
I have tried to use Unreal, and yes, is there something in particular you're promoting, a new version or new features you're announcing very soon, I think? Or?
Yeah, right before IBC, we announced our new software version of Porta, which is our cloud application to control Unreal, that is all web-based. You can run it anywhere. It has like a streaming preview for users, and really allows, it's really designer-focused, so lets designers kind of control graphics in Unreal without using code, without using blueprints. Just makes it really easy, democratizes who can create graphics in it, because sometimes it can be complex.
And is it possible at all to talk about pricing, or is that complicated?
It's complicated because there's different types of installations. I mean, we have free versions of all of our software for universities and different folks to use. Unreal itself is free, so and we really try to make it work for both large companies, large broadcasters, but also small production companies. So I would say it's complicated because of the size of the installation. So you can do a simple graphic that's a ticker, but you can also do a giant LED volume that is 100 meters by 35 meters. So different use cases, different size of systems. So we're enabling people to kind of take their production to the next level, right? And which is in the metaverse today. So a lot of what we're doing is enabling our tools to work automatically with things like MetaHuman, streaming to any type of device, including VR. And we have a lot of interesting integrations coming out later in the year that are focused around, Web 3.0 and that space.
Wow, 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 wow. As we leave the metaverse, we're going to head back over with John Barker with Skarhoy. Hi, John.
Who's going to tell us what's new this time for IBC? Go ahead, Casper.
Yes, thank you for having us here on this show. I'm excited about the Blue Pill, which is driving basically every single thing on this booth. These controllers are in a sense all new because they have the Blue Pill inside. That gives them ease of use, a lot of power to control cameras, and also modularity, which is how you can grow with Skarhoy. And if you look at this wall, you see we have like 22 different PTZ cameras, all controlled by this PTZ Extreme and the other controllers. And the great thing is that Blue Pill enables ease of use of getting those into your control. So what it means is that you don't have to worry about being locked up in a single brand. You can actually mix it any way you want. Also on these controllers, we have integration with atem switches and vMix for preview. And actually, when you look at the screen, the monitor feedback is from an atem switch where we use an auxiliary output for the preview screen for the PTZ operator. That's also operated by these buttons. So there's just this classic Skarhoy integration all over this place.
It's great. I'm obsessed with Skarhoy, all the different panels you can get, all the things. You have a couple of new panels that you have on the show floor today?
Yes, we do. I actually like this one a whole lot. This is one of the new PTZ controllers. It doesn't. It has a really boring name, MKA2, so a tech name, but it has visual preset thumbnails. You see those color displays on the products? That is your thumbnail of a preset. So when you press and store the preset, it will record the thumbnail from the camera and it will show it to you so that you have like a visual indication of what you get when you record the preset.
Really
so
cool.
That's a new one.
Yeah, that's great. We actually have some questions already in the panel, so we'll listen in and see what they have to say.
All right.
Go ahead.
So maybe I need to turn up the volume
sounds
here.
like it's a big deal with Skarhoy. Guy, I know your brain was just going with all the ways that you can use this and also sharing with others.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear that the thumbnails are now integrated right on the button, because that's one of the things that I love about something like vMix, where you can actually program those and you can see the thumbnail. So for churches, house of worship, you can see the baptismal font or one of these things. So Casper, your company has grown just tremendously and making huge inroads. What do you attribute to that success? Is it that you found a niche that people just didn't give good enough joysticks, or is it the integration? Like I had a PTZ Fly. Is it the integration that you're finding that people are most excited about with your products?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's probably pure luck. Who knows? But the growth of the company, I think it's also based on passion. I mean, honestly, I'm just a passionate engineer. I mean, I started scratching my own itch. I'm coming from the open source field, and I just love solving my own problems. And in this case, like in some other cases in my life, it just turns into a company and a worldwide project. So I think passion is the driving force behind that, and that's what keeps me at my crazy work week. I was just telling someone earlier today how I finished something on my holiday to Italy, and it sounds dreadful, but honestly, this is how I relax. I just love doing R&D in the Alps.
John, we've got some questions coming in through Mukana.
We do. We have a question here from Paul, who wants to get you to discuss the A10 Mini Extreme Sidekick. What does it do?
The Sidekick? Yeah, I need specifically what he's thinking about.
Yeah, what does it do?
We don't have a product that's called A10 Mini Sidekick.
Okay, that was a great question, wasn't it? Well, you know what? We'll go to our next one. What is cruise control?
Oh, cruise control. Yeah, cruise control is the idea that you can kind of put your PTZ camera in motion, and then you can just have it going, like with a creep zoom. When you are in the back of your auditorium, you just want to make a silent creep zoom towards towards the stage, then you can do that. That's what cruise control gives you, that you can hands off the joystick, do something else, and the camera keeps going. Then you put another camera in position and change to that one.
Really good. That sounds great. And your software, what is it that you have named that, and how's things going there? Tell us about the software.
Yes. On the Blue Pill, the software package is called Reactor, and Reactor is bringing panels and all your devices together with a configuration. And that software is running on the panels. I have so many people asking me, is it a server somewhere in the cloud? Is it a different computer? No, it's running on the panel, because Blue Pill means they have a industrial Linux inside that gives them tremendous power of communicating with devices and panels and bringing all that together.
That's great. And you've come a long way. I remember having a Scarahau device years ago, which had a completely different UI, UX, and I'm really impressed with what you've done here. How have you gotten from where you were with the software to where you are with the software?
Well, I have a super great team. I'm blessed with the best engineers that I can imagine. So these guys, they are just working so hard to bring out this user-friendly interface, and it also has a lot of power underneath, so I can show you ways to get lost in it. No way. Yeah, I mean, that's easily done.
Don't tempt me. I have a question here from Gordon Lake, who wants to know, what is your best controller for a new Blackmagic switcher, and what would be the approximate price point for that?
Right. So my favorite right now is probably the Master Key 1 V2, which is a beautiful high-end panel. And then you can combine it into our mega panel. If you had some shots of that, or if you look it up in our brochures online, you can as well. Then we have some really nice solutions for high-end ATEM switching. But on the low end, a product like MiniFly, LiveFly is also really neat. Keep in mind, all these panels, they have displays so that they are super flexible, and they can switch between ATEM to vMix and routing and bring in a camera. And the buttons will always respond to that with the displays and the colors. So that flexibility makes our products more expensive typically than just a more simple panel. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time, Casper.
Thank you.
And it's been great to be here.
Yeah.
Back to you on the panel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Casper. Thank you, John. And while we work really hard, we want to show you some fun clips from our team on the floor, some behind the scenes. Coming thanks to our friends over at LiveU. So we want to go to Emma as she is live from their booth.
Yeah, hi everybody. What a coup. Not only are we using two L800 units today, we got to come and have a look. And I'm here with Ronan, who's going to talk us through some of the new exciting developments over here at LiveU. So how are you finding IBC, first of all, Ronan?
Wow, first of all, great to be here again. After 3 years of, we missed the show. We really missed the show, and it's going great. Really, we're very, very happy to be here.
That's brilliant. I think that's a sentiment shared about all the vendors. So one of the new exciting things that has come from IBC is EasyLive.io, so that we have an end-to-end solution with LiveU, so you can like broadcast back and cut your show all in once. That's incredible.
Well, actually, you got it right. We've got just that. What we see here in action is actually an L800 Pro 4 connected to 4 PTZ cameras that actually can be controlled remotely from anywhere in the world. All those feeds going right into the EasyLive.io studio, where they're mixed, adding graphics, layovers, voiceover, anything, and program out on one of the screens here. So actually, as you said, end-to-end live remote production which really I think is where the industry is going to, and where we see the appetite from our customers towards to. So this is a great case study, is a great show for us in this year IBC 2022.
Oh, absolutely. It's something that I think live broadcasters all over the world have been chopping at the bit for something this simple and to use, because the extra bits and accessories sometimes can be a killer, so being able to do that with one unit is pretty incredible. As I said, we're using 2 of your beautiful LiveU800s. We also have a solo back home, so we're big fans of LiveU over here at Office Hours. But we should be coming back to the panel for some questions, and I'm sure they'll have some very interesting ones considering the scale of this huge feat.
Yeah, Ronan, Grant Whitehead from South Australia. We're enjoying the use of LiveU right now. It's working incredibly well in a very demanding environment. We're really impressed. I'm interested in this cloud production as you're seeing it. Is one of the things I think about is the latency. If you wanted to do multi-site, totally different places, and then the latency and sort of switching between those multiple cameras. I hear you talking about being able to send multiple cameras down one unit. What about synchronizing 2 units?
Well, first of all, the 4 feeds that are coming from the LiveU800 Pro 4 are fully synced. The latency can go down up to 600 milliseconds, depends on the connection. When you connect actually 2 units, all of them are fully synced. So if you are thinking about doing a remote production with 8 cameras, all those 8 will be fully synced. So I think that's one thing that we really praised and worked for, and we really understand the necessity of that to really sync and that's exactly what we're bringing into the show here.
That's so great. I'm also interested in the multiple cell providers, and have you worked with some of those providers to be able to get sort of more reliable bandwidth from some of the cell providers in different countries?
Yeah, so depending on the country, there are places where we can get guaranteed bandwidth, or what we call priority SIMs. That's definitely where we are going towards. But because we are using specifically in those units an 8 SIM cards, with most of it kind of an unlimited bandwidth, we are really, I think that we haven't dealt with such an issue in previous places where we worked at. We've pretty much been able to produce the sufficient bandwidth for everything that our customers looked for. So I think in that term, and like I said, we're working with multiple providers, and that's sorry.
There's nothing like live broadcast TV, guys. There's nothing like it.
Nothing like that.
Yes.
Nothing like that. Yeah.
And we've got some questions coming in from.
Sure.
We've got some questions from Mukana that we want to make sure that we give you a chance to respond to.
Yeah, no worries. So Joel from Mumbai says, what's new with the 610s?
Yeah, so 2 new encoders that actually we brought into IBC this year, the 810 and 610S, brand new encoders, encoders that can really be on-premise and can be also in cars. We can install them, and actually this is the 2 involvement that we brought into this show.
Awesome. And then we have another one from Jeffrey Powers, who's all the way in Madison, Wisconsin, and he says, is there a way to replay with this new remote production?
So replay is provided by the Easy LiveIO platform. It's not provided by the LiveU. LiveU is just a contribution unit, but anything that happens, whether it's switching, graphics, replay, it's done via the Easy LiveIO.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got another question from Gordon Lake in LA, and he says, what's the advantage of LiveU in a crowded environment like IBC, for example, as a solution over other solutions?
Well, the advantages is going back to the bonding cellular. Think about that you have 8 phones in your pocket. So actually we are bonding them together, but what we are doing is very intelligent in terms of we are utilizing a lot of code in actually give priority to those scenes that are currently has more bandwidth than the other, and we switch between them on a fraction of a second to make sure that we give priority to whatever SIM card is in priority right now, and where the video can go. So in most cases, you won't see any breakdown in the signal, similar to what we see here at IBC.
Yep, that's fantastic. And again, speaking as someone who's used LiveU for a couple of years now, just to add on to that, the other massive advantage is portability. The fact that you've got your whole unit in one backpack on your back and go. Definitely not a massive truck for outside. But thank you so much for your time. Yes, it definitely is one of the big advantages. But thank you so much for your time today, Ronan.
Thank you very much.
And we're just going to hand back over to Liberty.
Wonderful. It was a pleasure to be
Thank
here.
Thank you, Ronan and Emma. And now we're going to head over to John Barker with vMix.
Absolutely. I'm here with Tim at vMix, and I am really excited. I'm a vMix user myself. I'm really excited to hear what's new in the upcoming version. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
We're actually showing vMix 26 Alpha for the first time. We've kind of just wrapped up a couple of features the last week. So everything's just a little bit fresh, and so we're running them on these laptops here, and nothing's exploded or caught fire yet, so that's always a
good start. Definitely a good start. Any specific features that you're really excited about putting out there?
We decided to add 15 mix effects, so instead of having just the 3 mixes at the moment, we'll be able to add 15 in the future, which is pretty handy for different people that are used to more of a traditional mix effect sort of setup with their productions, and also the pre-rendered content from vMix can be added to a mix, so you can manipulate it in different ways. So instead of having like a virtual set on its own, you can then put it into a mix and then layer that and use the like cropping and zooming in different ways and stuff. So,
and something I had a little sneak peek of yesterday was a blur filter. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, I think so. We've added an effects panel, so we can start adding more video effects to vMix that people request moving forward. So at the moment, we've added a lot support for this version, and also a Gaussian blur for the screen as well. So it's not a background removal. It's actually like a foreground removal that people want to blur faces. They want to blur certain parts of content, or even an entire an image or something like that. They can blur it that way. So that's something that a lot of people have asked for. It was harder than we thought it should be, but it's going to be in there. So
perfect. That sounds good. Well, we have some questions. Let's listen in from the panel what they have to ask you.
I am one of the novice users, but I'd like to thank you for it being so robust, because we have put it into our house of worship 2 years ago, and I haven't had to worry about it at all. So what is the community that you have created to help people that want to learn more about how to really take advantage of your tool?
I think most of the sort of community is based around, we have a forum where people kind of give suggestions or ask questions and that sort of thing. So forums.vmix.com is a good place to go. If you head to Facebook, there are a number of Facebook-specific groups in regards to vMix specifically. There's a couple there. We kind of steer clear from it a little bit because it's a lot to keep up with Facebook support. All the support that we have goes through our website, so if you do have any questions, you can drop us an email. But usually, through those sort of Facebook groups and other different streaming things, even places like Reddit with video engineering and different forums like that, a lot of people offering advice or just showing pictures of like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and dropping some questions and ask different things on that level.
We do have some questions coming in from Makana. I think that would be a great place to get some more response there. John?
Absolutely. The first question from Joel, and I'm not surprised to hear this, but Mousepads should be also available as merchandise for us to buy, ?
Yeah, so we like to make mouse pads at all of our trade shows. We wanted to transition into a mouse pad company, but we haven't quite got there yet, but we will eventually get there, believe. Yeah, so that's the plan anyway. We do have mouse pads available. You just need to email us, and I can send you a mouse pad. and I don't know the email address off the top of my head.
Oh, great. That's
which I should.
You had one job and that was it, right?
I know. I didn't think... I was waiting for the tough questions about 8K and 240 FPS and like SRT, PID, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they're coming now. But yeah, nothing coming to mind. I think it's I want a mouse pad at something. Anyway, I can let you know if you want.
Okay, I want to mouse pad at something. Let's try that and see what you get there. Next question here, Jeffrey Powers. Maybe you covered this a little bit already, but are the new blur features also able to replace the like a background blur kind of zoom style, or is it more for foreground, right?
Yeah, it's more. It's just a general. There's no sort of like machine learning AI or anything like in regards to background removal. It is solely for kind of foreground like blurring faces, but you could obviously blur a background, but it's not going to crop out what's behind you. It's not using like NVIDIA broadcast tools or anything like that. It's something that we've looked at. There's some other software that obviously Zoom and that type of thing that have that built in. Something that we've looked at. So moving forward, it's something that we might look at further. But currently, this is something that people have been asking for a lot. For some reason, so that took priority over the other.
And you got there with it. Great. Next question here comes from Yunus Tatel, who says, "Will the new mixes be able to also trigger audio follows video?"
Not currently. It's a bit tricky when it comes to that sort of thing. At what point do you consider what you're manipulating the original content? That made no sense. So if you've got a video file and the audio's following it, but you've got it in 3 different mixes, which one does it follow? So it's something that somebody else brought up yesterday, I think. So I'll have to have a look at it. Again, I don't think it's something that's quite possible at the moment. We'll have to look at the way that it routes and if it could be possible to have a tick box. I really don't know, but maybe in the future.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time and telling us about vMix. And yeah, it's been great to chat with you. Thanks so much.
No worries.
Back to you, Liberty.
Wonderful. Real people. There are real people behind this technology. And now we'll head over to an interview with Grass Valley.
Hey, Todd. Ross, you're announcing a new product here today. What have we got here?
So this is the all-new Ultrix FR12. Okay. This is the latest frame in the Ultrix family. So this is an extension of our Ultrix platform. We have 3 other frame sizes. This is the latest one, and it's bigger. So it provides us more capacity, more functionality, and allows our customers to do more with Ultrix, more I/O, more processing, etc.
So we have a back and a front.
Yes.
Do you maybe want to give us a bit of a talk through whichever order you want to do?
Yeah, so since we're looking at the back here, this is a 288 by 288 video routing frame. Okay. There's a 6,000 channel TDM audio matrix, so loads of audio. And there's all kinds of software licenses. So we can do up to 48 multi-viewers. There's up to 288 frame syncs, etc. And we can just add these things through software. The backplane that you see here, one of the things that has been really important with Ultrix in its life is to have all that functionality and then regardless of the topology. So in this frame we have SDI coax, we have fiber, we have 2110. We can also put production switchers in here, so we can create a chassis that does routing, multi-viewers, and production switchers all in 12 rack units. And so there's a tremendous amount of power in a very small form factor.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ross, for that up close and behind the scenes interview. And now we're going to head over to Emma with New Tech.
Hello, Liberty. Yes, we've made a mad dash across this very busy hall, and we're here with Susan and then NDI. How are you finding IBC?
Well, I'm finding IBC pretty crowded. Yesterday was absolutely fantastic. You know, a lot of people, a lot of queues outside the building. Also, I've never seen that before in a first day of IBC. So, yeah, it's really happy to see to catch up with the industry again in Amsterdam.
Yeah, it's so fantastic to see just so many industry professionals making their way back after 3 years away. I think it's been fantastic. What's really got you excited in your booth today at IBC?
Yeah, well, we are pretty excited about what's happening and what's going on with NDI. Indeed, I want to show this to the whole audience. This is the 6th award NDI 5 has won since it was released last year. So the protocol is converting itself into a de facto standard in the industry, and it is seen somehow as a, as a successor for SDI, as it's a protocol that is not as complex as 2110 it is. Okay, so in terms of adoption, NDI is growing a lot. Indeed, here at the IBC, there's more than 40 companies showcasing new or brand new NDI developments, and we are pretty happy. And we are also requesting, there's also a lot of companies requesting us, to have meetings, understand how they can implement NDI in their workflows as a final user or in their products if they are a vendor. It doesn't matter if it's hardware or software vendor.
Yeah, I think that's just as you said, like NDI is becoming synonymous with just the whole industry standard, so I think it's a fantastic. Liberty, do you guys have any questions for us?
I have a question about NDI Bridge. I'm seeing online that you guys have a demo there of using Bridge, and for those of our audience that doesn't know what NDI Bridge, it allows you to have a host and a joiner, so you can have somebody host an NDI feed and then push it across. And is that something that you guys are doing there live in the booth at the moment?
Yeah, well, NDI Bridge is a nice development in the sense that you can connect different NDI networks. We are going to continue supporting that, yeah, stay tuned because there's a lot going on and coming up.
Awesome. And then is there some new PTZ cameras that are also available at NewTek?
Yeah, there's a PTZ 3 camera available. There's more coming for sure, and in the NDI ecosystem there's going to be a lot of new NDI cameras deployed after IBC with the new HX3 codec.
Awesome. And are you seeing more adoption because of the ease of use? Because for instance, we have a Netgear switch. Are you seeing something like that now that the switch manufacturers are starting to make it easier? Are you seeing just more and more adoption because 2110's maybe a little bit more infrastructure? Are you seeing cost being a factor?
Yeah, definitely. The stuff that companies like Netgear are deploying right now in terms of, getting rid of the IT complexity, it's helping a lot to gain traction in NDI adoption, because one of the things that we are saying to the industry is that NDI as a protocol is pretty easy to use and it works. And in that sense, right now with these deployments from Netgears and these new switches from companies that are pretty easy to use, it's not only about the protocol itself, it's also about the network that is going to support all the NDI stuff. So that's definitely helping a lot in terms of adoption.
And Emma, there are some questions for NewTek piling up in Mukana.
Yes, we have a couple here from Paul. So Paul Woodhouse from Austin, Texas would like to know, what is the future of TriCaster versus the future of NDI?
Well, that's a good question, because right now NDI is an independent business unit. So NDI is not owned by NewTek anymore. We have, we are independent within the Visirte Group strategy that, Visirte Group is 3 bands. It's Visirte, NewTek, and NDI. So the roadmap of NDI, is going to follow the request of the users and the industry. And I guess that, the TriCaster R&D team is going to do kind of the same. That doesn't mean that the deployment is going to be, the same for all the research and development is going to be the same for both, TriCaster something that I tell to the people when they come the kind of question is that, TriCaster is great by itself. Indeed, TriCaster exists before NDI. NDI was created to get more sources into TriCaster. Right now, NDI is being it's converting itself into a de facto standard on one side, and TriCaster it's a super great production mixer that is going to continue his own way,
That's fantastic. I think we have time for just one more quick question, and that's from Joel in Mumbai. And he asked, what can we expect with NDI 5.6 or 6, specifically with audio in mind?
Well, right now, I can't say something specifically, okay, because if I tell something about this, maybe someone is going to kill me. But what I can say is, guys, there's going to be a lot of work done in the audio space in the upcoming NDI releases, so stay tuned.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time, and we're going to go back to our panel. Thanks, guys.
Wonderful. We know that the Office Hours community will be talking about this during the show afterwards. And now we'll go to Grass Valley, this Grass Valley interview.
I'm Chris with Office Hours with Martin from Grass Valley, and we're going to talk about their new Agile Media Processing Platform, better known as AMP.
Thank you, Chris.
Would you like to tell us a little bit more about exactly what it is?
Absolutely. So AMP is a software-defined platform that Grass Valley offers, which allows deploying services either in the cloud or on-premise. We've taken all of the functions that are part of a broadcast or a media infrastructure, and we've made them virtual and deployable anywhere in the world. And you can operate it from anywhere using HTML browsers. And we support all the workflows from contribution to asset management to playout to production. Anything you can think of, fundamentally, you can reproduce or replicate in the Agile Media Processing Platform. We have a feature called AMP Control, which also allows, at a single button push, if you wanted multiple things to happen, like route a source, start a clip layer, design a macro that would all do that at a single button push. Pay as you go, so it's usage-based. The only thing is we have a yearly fee to get on the platform. With that, you get 2 accounts. Multiple users can work on these accounts. One is entirely free to use, but you cannot use it on air. You want to bring it to air, you move it to your production account, which is going to be pay as you go. And we have 2 pricing models. One is per hour, which will cater very well to event-based type of things like football, for example, which is only happening on weekends. Or it could be a monthly subscription, and you can use it as much as you want.
Thank you very much. Merci for your time.
You're welcome, man.
All right,
bienvenue. Ça me fait plaisir.
Ah, très bien. Well, now we're going to head over to John Barker with Blackmagic Design. John, we're excited because we are fans of Blackmagic Design here at Office Hours.
We are huge fans of Blackmagic Design, and I'm here with Craig, who's going to tell me a little bit about the new products that we have. So go for it. Why not?
Hi, John. Fantastic to have you guys, and thank you for joining us. So here at IBC 2022, the key product that we've announced is the new Ultimate range of products. So these are built on the legacy and the heritage of the Ultimate products we've had for a number of times and years now in our lineup. And what we have at the show is 4 new units, 4 new products that you can use for your live production demands, where you're using green screen, maybe virtual sets, or wanting to key in elements and assets into your shows. So going down the range, the starting point for people is going to be the HD Mini. So this is the smaller unit out of the 4 that we have here at the show. And this offers some HDMI inputs for us with SDI outputs for control. And then moving up, we have a HD unit, which is really designed around 1080p. Both of those devices are small, portable, HD capable, one with HDMI at the front and center, the other SDI. Then we move to something where we have the Ultimate 4K, the Ultimate 12 4K, I should say, which is what we're demoing here. And you can see as a setup, as an example of how you'd use the devices, we have foreground talent against a green screen, and then we're hosting and we've loaded in on the frame store a background element, and we can now control that as well through some new software elements, the new Ultimate software control control. So we can set our key, we can finesse the edging, all of the parameters and the presets and all the technology we had in the older Ultimat products, which used to cost upwards of $50,000, and now in the Ultimat 12 4K for, what's this, €2,500. And then we have the beast of a product, which is the Ultimat 12 8K. So this is really about live production at those higher 8K elements, or virtual production with 8K elements in there as well, still using all the fantastic technology we've had for Ultimat through the years.
Exactly, it's perfect. And we actually have some questions from our panel already, so let's listen in and see what they have to ask us.
And be talking to you now. I saw the booth going through, and as we went through, there's people everywhere in the Blackmagic booth. That's amazing, because we love the product so much.
Yep.
Specifically about keying, I'm interested in, we all benefit from the great keyer that's built into the atems and the Constellation. What is specifically the difference around what we can do in our existing switches and then dedicating it with hardware like this?
That's a really good question. Yeah, we've had that a few times here at the booth as well, and clearly what we did with the atem products a while back is we added the advanced keyer. So that took some key technologies and algorithms from the Ultimat across to the atem range. But where you'll see benefits with the new Ultimat products, and the reason we have that selection in the range, is there's greater control for you. Where we're still using the core hardware and the advanced keyer as the atems, the Ultimats really excel. Really, you know, they're designed for this singular purpose. And then as an example in the software control, this is now a new free software. You can use Mac or PC. And the finite control and the finesse and the parameters that you can use inside of there are going to give you a little bit more of an edge, certainly where you're working maybe in multicam situations as well. So in that instance, you might have multiple cameras all working on the same green screen set, and you'd want to maybe copy and paste, or you might have differences, shadows, reflections, and transparencies, and you can work with them then as per channel lines. And the Ultimat software control will actually control more than one Ultimat as well. So you can have a single control element across multiple Ultimats, much greater control and definition. But of course, in the atem products, we're still really, you know, I love the advanced keyer we added. But it's like a step up. It's an exclusive use of the Ultimat for those tools.
Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense. And I see some questions, John.
Yeah, we sure do have some questions here. From Paul, wants to know, when will the HD Mini be widely available and what is the price point?
So they're shipping now. All products are announced. We're shipping. You should be able to see stock available through resellers that you know and love. Price-wise, €515. You'll see local pricing if you're buying in the US or if you're buying elsewhere in the world. Go and check on the website, change your region, or go and check with your local resellers and you'll get street pricing. But they're shipping and available.
Perfect. And I have another question here from Joel. Says, will Blackmagic have... this is a great one. Are you ready for it? Will Blackmagic have NDI products given its acceptance and widespread usage? Also, a simple thank you for all the super capable and price-friendly products.
Well, thank you, first of all. Yeah. That's great. You know, and thank you on behalf of all of the product management teams and the engineers that work really hard to put those through. That's what we love doing, and thank you for the feedback. On the NDI, I guess that's more a case. We use shows like IBC to get feedback from customers, and we're always looking at what technologies are out there in the world. We've stayed away from NDI currently as it's matured and developed, and maybe it's a technology we haven't integrated in just yet. I couldn't give you a definitive time frame, and we'd probably take some feedback to see how it would work. We'd want to see value. We'd want to be able to see what offers it brings to our technology, and then what it does to the workflows that we offer. So I don't think it's ever a no, but again, I can't say at the show right now. There's nothing to announce. But you know, we keep an eye on it, and the more you ask, the noisier the demand is.
Exactly.
You know, the more we can react to that need.
I have a next question here, also from Paul, which is something I wanted to know for a long time. Where does the name atem originate from?
Yeah, good question.
Quick story, go.
Well, we acquired atem as a business. So atem have been around as a as a switcher company as in the US, going way back into the 80s and the 70s. So we acquired the name. I believe it means breathe in German, if that means anything. Okay. But we acquired the name, and we decided to keep it as a recognized brand.
Okay, makes sense. Next one here from Gordon says, when using your Studio 4K Pro cameras with Unreal Engine, which Ultimat would be the recommended starting point?
Which camera was that, sorry?
The Studio 4K Pro cameras.
Well, if you're working in 4K, you're going to go straight to the Ultimat 12 4K.
Got it.
So then you've got that consistent throughput at 2160p. SDI-based as well, so you can come out of the converter products or you can come out of the camera directly. So I'd say that's your starting point for it. If you happen to be using those cameras but then going down into HD, then of course you could drop into the HD product instead.
Okay, makes sense. But do you see a lot of people using the Unreal sort of workflow so far, or is it still something that you've seen getting started in the Blackmagic products?
No, we've done a lot of work with virtual production around Unreal engines. We've done, and I'm aware of a lot of productions that have been driven and the technical glue that's helped deliver virtual production. The Unreal Engine is the software process and engine that's driving everything. We're very much integrated into the hardware side of it. And again, the original Ultimate product and now this range just expands that and gives some better price point options.
Excellent.
If you want to use that.
Thank you so much for your time. We're running low, but we're going to just thank you and cheers for that. All the best.
Awesome.
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Craig, and thank you, John. And we're coming down to the end of our show. And Emma, wow, I don't even know what you're feeling like right now after the past 90 minutes.
I can't speak for John, who I've just dragged away from his Blackmagic interview, but it is warm, exciting, and very stimulating in here. All I can think of is that I need a pint. How about you, John?
I could do with that, definitely. I am exhausted.
Well, John and Emma, it's just been exciting to see you take us on a journey for the last 90 minutes. And my passport doesn't have a stamp on it, but my heart does. You did a great job.
What was the highlight interview for you?
Thank everybody. Oh, for me or for John?
For both of you.
LiveU. I think LiveU was my favorite just because as someone who's really familiar with their gear, it was nice to see how exciting that's going to get, and the fact that they now have an end-to-end editor program, fantastic. It's going to be very exciting stuff. What about you, John?
Well, we're standing backstage on the Blackmagic booth here, so I'm going to say Blackmagic, but I am a big fan. I'm always interested to see what they're up to. And then, yeah, vMix, talking to them, I'm a big fan of their videos. I've seen them all the time, so I was kind of like minor celebrity status talking to Tim earlier on today. That was cool.
Yeah, my favorite interview is actually happening right now because I'm here with John Parker from Here to Record live on YouTube.
Me too.
Yes, so exciting there. What's next for you too, besides a nap?
Well, I think lunch is on the agenda for sure. Maybe dinner, maybe drinks. But no, I think we're going to go and scope the hall out in a non-official capacity, try and get some more low-key looks and demos into some interesting stuff. I haven't had a chance to have a look around the Blackmagic booth, so I'm going to do that. What about you, John?
I'm going to go sit down and then stay seated for the rest of the day, and then maybe stay seated some more. But then tomorrow I'm going to walk around a ton more.
Grant, Guy, Sky, we spent the past hour and a half together. Any closing remarks?
I was just gonna say to Emma and John, thank you so much for being our legs, and also just live TV like this, it's super stressful, and you handled it so well. The internet has held up great. There was still some latency there, but it's awesome to see the team. We thank you so much. It's been an epic journey. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's just stunning to see all these friends that have come together, and for a cause, for a reason, but the community continues to grow and get stronger. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And Guy,
just amazing to see this group of smiling faces behind the scenes. I mean, I love it. Having seen all these other shows, to see these happy, smiley faces, it's amazing. I love this community. I love what you guys were able to do today. This is groundbreaking. Congratulations, everyone.
thank you so much, Emma, John, the on-site team, and of course, Guy, Sky, and Grant for just your insights and your feedback. And this global production would not be possible without the support of Electrosonics for the wireless mics, the LiveU for like you're still watching right now. So thank you so much, LiveU, and Lucid Link for the cloud storage so that we can play out the interviews. Oh, wonderful. And now, if you are still watching, stay on this channel. because we're going to head into office hours, which starts in less than 20 minutes, your time zone. And remember, the second hour is going to be an in-depth interview with Andy Carluccio and the team at Zoom. So you want to stay tuned so that you can ask your questions. So thank you again so much for tuning in. I am Liberty White, and that's a wrap for IBC Exhibition 2022. Bye, all.